Imagine a small, quiet village, tucked between rolling green hills and ancient forests, where the air carries the scent of pine and the gentle hum of a river flows endlessly in the background. At first glance, this village seems ordinary, with cobblestone streets, wooden cottages, and lanterns glowing softly at night. But those who linger long enough, those who listen closely to the whispers of the wind, discover that this is no ordinary place. This is the village that remembered magic. In this story, we will wander through its peaceful lanes, step into cozy homes warmed by flickering fireplaces, and meet kind villagers who carry with them a secret, the knowledge of a magic so gentle and healing, it exists not in spells or wands, but in memories, traditions, and the quiet beauty of life itself. This is not a tale of battles or storms, it is a story of calm discovery, of how wonder is never lost, only waiting to be noticed again. As you listen, let the soothing rhythm of the words carry you. Let the quiet magic of the village wrap around you like a warm blanket. Tonight, you will drift into dreams, gently guided by a story of wonder, peace, and timeless magic. Crescent moon sparkles. The first glimpse of the village crescent moon sparkles. Far beyond the busy roads and noisy towns, there lies a hidden path. It is narrow, winding gently between tall grass and old oak trees, almost as if it doesn't want to be found. The air here is different, cooler, fresher, filled with the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of an owl settling in for the night. As you follow the path, you notice how the world seems to grow quieter with every step. The chatter of the day fades away, replaced by the sound of your own footsteps and the gentle hush of nature. At the end of the lane, a warm glow appears, faint at first, like the flicker of a candle, then stronger, like lanterns guiding you home. And there it is. The village. A cluster of cottages with moss-covered roofs, smoke curling lazily from stone chimneys, and lanterns swinging gently in the evening breeze. A stream winds through the center, its waters glistening like silver under the moonlight. Everything about this place feels alive, yet peacefully still, as though time itself has slowed to match the calm rhythm of the night. This is your first glimpse of the village that remembered magic. Lantern light and gentle voices sparkles red paper lantern. As you step closer, the village greets you not with noise, but with stillness wrapped in warmth. Lanterns hang from wooden posts along the cobblestone path, each glowing with a soft golden light. They don't flicker like ordinary flames, instead, their glow is steady and soothing, as if the lanterns themselves remember the stories of 100 nights gone by. A few villagers walk slowly along the path, their footsteps unhurried, their voices hushed. You catch the faint sound of laughter, soft and gentle, like the chiming of wind bells on a breezy evening. No one rushes here, no one hurries past. Every movement feels intentional, as though the people have learned the art of living slowly, savoring each step, each breath. The air smells of wood smoke and freshly baked bread drifting from an open cottage window. A cat stretches lazily on a porch, while an old man lights another lantern, humming a tune that feels older than the stones beneath your feet. Nothing here seems loud, yet everything feels alive. The village is not just welcoming you, it is quietly reminding you how peaceful life can be when you move at the pace of lantern light and gentle voices. The cottage by the stream house with garden droplet sparkles. At the heart of the village, where the cobblestone path bends and the lanterns cast long golden shadows, you notice a small cottage resting by the stream. Its walls are built of weathered stone, covered in climbing ivy that sways gently with the breeze. A wooden bridge, narrow and curved, crosses the stream and leads right to the door. The stream itself hums like a lullaby, its water moving slowly over smooth stones, glistening under the silver moonlight. You pause on the bridge for a moment, listening to the steady rhythm of the flowing water. It's the kind of sound that makes your shoulders relax and your breath grow slower, as if the world is asking you to rest. The windows of the cottage glow softly, their light spilling out into the night. You can see the flicker of a fire inside, shadows dancing across the wooden walls. The smell of herbs drifts through the air, lavender, rosemary, and something sweet, perhaps honey. It feels inviting, like the promise of warmth after a long journey. Here, by the stream and beneath the watchful moon, the magic of the village feels strongest, waiting patiently for you to step inside and discover its secrets. The keeper of the cottage crystal ball sparkles. As you step across the little bridge and approach the door of the cottage, it creaks open slowly, as if it has been expecting you. A warm glow spills into the night, carrying with it the soft fragrance of chamomile tea and burning cedar wood. Standing at the doorway is an elderly woman, her hair silver like moonlight, her eyes bright yet gentle. She smiles without a word, as though she already knows who you are, and gestures for you to step inside. There is no need for introductions here, the cottage feels alive, and somehow, it seems to recognize your presence too. Inside, the air is warm and comforting. Wooden shelves line the walls, filled with jars of herbs, old books with worn covers, and curious trinkets that glimmer faintly in the firelight. A kettle simmers on the hearth, sending little clouds of steam into the room. The woman speaks at last, her voice soft, carrying the weight of many stories. "You found the village," she says. "Not many do. Fewer still remember why it's here. But you," she studies you carefully, her smile deepening, "you've come to listen." The fire crackles, and for a moment, it feels as though the whole cottage leans in, eager for the story that is about to unfold. A cup of memory teacup without handle sparkles. The woman moves gracefully, her steps slow and deliberate, as she takes the kettle from the hearth and pours steaming tea into a clay cup. The scent of chamomile and wild mint drifts upward, wrapping around you like a comforting blanket. She places the cup in your hands, and the warmth seeps through, traveling into your fingers, your arms, and finally settling deep within your chest. "This is no ordinary tea," she whispers with a smile. "It is brewed with herbs from the hills, water from the stream, and a touch of something older, something this village has carried for generations." You lift the cup to your lips and take a sip. The taste is delicate, soothing, with a sweetness that lingers. But more than flavor, it carries with it a feeling, a memory. For a moment, you are not in the cottage at all. You are walking through a meadow of golden grass, the sun warm on your face, laughter echoing faintly around you. It feels familiar, though you cannot place the memory. When you blink, you are back in the cottage, the woman watching you with kind eyes. "Do you see now?" she says softly. "This is how the village remembers." Whispers in the firelight, fire sparkles. The fire crackles in the stone hearth, sending little sparks dancing upward before fading into the air. Shadows ripple across the walls, stretching and bending as though they are alive, carrying stories of their own. You notice how the flames seem to burn differently here, not harsh or wild, but calm, steady, glowing as if it carries patience instead of urgency. The woman sits across from you, her hands folded gently in her lap. For a moment, she simply watches the fire, her eyes reflecting its soft glow. Then, almost in a whisper, she begins to speak. Long ago, when the world was younger, people lived closer to the rhythm of the earth. They listened to the rivers, to the trees, to the winds that moved through the hills. Magic was not a thing of spells or charms, but of noticing, of remembering the hidden life in all things. This village, she pauses, her gaze flickering back to you, never forgot. You listen as the fire pops softly, the warmth wrapping around you like a cocoon. The room feels suspended in time, as though the rest of the world has drifted far away. The woman leans closer, her voice like a secret. Everything you see here, the light, the water, the stillness, it remembers. And now, so do you. The village's secret crescent moon sparkles. The woman's words linger in the air, soft and shimmering, as though they themselves are stitched with magic. You feel a hush settle over the cottage, broken only by the crackle of the fire and the distant murmur of the stream outside. She rises slowly, her movement steady and graceful, and walks to a shelf lined with old books and glass jars. From between them, she pulls out a worn leather-bound journal, its cover etched with faint symbols that seem to glow for just a moment before fading again. She places it gently on the wooden table between you. This, she says, resting her hand upon the book, is the memory of the village. Every joy, every sorrow, every moment of wonder, it is all written here. The people here are not magicians, not in the way stories often tell. Their gift is remembering. And in remembering, they keep magic alive. She opens the book, and though the pages are covered in writing, you realize the words are not just ink. They shimmer faintly, shifting as though alive. You can almost hear whispers rising from them, the laughter of children, the rush of wind through trees, the sound of bells carried on a breeze. The woman looks at you, her eyes kind but serious. And now, she says, the village has chosen to share its secret with you. The pages that breathe open book sparkles. You lean closer to the journal, drawn by the soft shimmer of its words. The letters seem to move gently across the parchment, rearranging themselves like ripples on water. When you focus, they settle into place, forming stories that feel both familiar and new at the same time. One page glows faintly brighter than the rest. The woman tilts her head toward it, encouraging you to read. As your eyes trace the lines, the words lift from the page, not like smoke but like breath, gentle, alive, carrying the scent of pine and rain. Suddenly, you hear the sound of laughter echoing faintly, the clinking of bells, and the call of birds overhead. For a moment, you are no longer in the cottage. Instead, you are standing in a meadow filled with wildflowers. Children run barefoot through the grass, their joy spilling into the air like sunlight. Villagers sit nearby, weaving baskets, sharing stories, and singing songs that seem to carry the rhythm of the earth itself. You blink, and in an instant, you are back in the cottage, the journal resting calmly before you. The woman's eyes twinkle knowingly. "Do you feel it?" she asks softly. "Every page is alive. Every story is waiting. The village does not let memories fade, it breathes them back to life. The meadow of echoes blossom sparkles." The woman turns another page, and once again the air around you shifts, soft and alive. This time, the words rise gently like a mist, carrying with them the faint perfume of wildflowers. The scent is sweet and calming, almost enough to lull you into sleep, yet it awakens something inside you too, something tender and long forgotten. Suddenly, you find yourself standing in the middle of a wide, sunlit meadow. The grass sways in waves of green and gold, each blade moving as though it remembers the rhythm of an ancient song. The air is filled with the buzzing of bees and the slow hum of wind moving through the flowers. Voices drift around you, gentle, warm, familiar. They sound like echoes, as though laughter and kindness from long ago still live in the meadow, repeating softly so they are never lost. You turn, and for a moment, you catch sight of shadowy figures, villagers who once played, worked, and rested here. Their shapes are made of light, shimmering, almost like memories come alive. The woman's voice drifts across the meadow, though she is not beside you. "This is the meadow of echoes," she says. "Here, the past still sings. Nothing beautiful is ever truly gone." The light lingers, wrapping you in its warmth, and you feel the meadow's memory become part of your own. The bell tower's song bell sparkles. The meadow begins to fade softly, like sunlight dissolving into twilight, and once again you find yourself seated in the cozy cottage. The journal rests on the table, its pages glowing faintly as if pleased to have shared its memory with you. The woman closes the book gently and speaks, her voice no louder than the crackle of the fire. "There is another place," she says, "where the village remembers best of all. The bell tower." You picture it in your mind before you even see it, a tall stone tower rising above the cottages, its roof peaked, its windows open to the night air. She describes how the great bell hangs there, ancient and smooth, its surface worn from centuries of ringing. But its sound is unlike any other. When the bell tolls, the woman whispers, the whole village listens. The sound is not just heard, it is felt. It carries through the air, through the ground, through the heart. It reminds every soul who lives here that they are part of something timeless. You close your eyes, and though the bell has not rung, you imagine it, deep, resonant, soothing. A sound that could carry you into sleep, or into dreams where the world is gentler. The woman smiles faintly, as though she can hear it too. "One day soon," she says, "you will climb the tower and hear it for yourself." The path to the tower evergreen tree bell sparkles. The woman sets the journal aside and rises slowly, her shawl brushing the wooden floor as she moves. She opens the cottage door, and the night air drifts in, cool and sweet with the scent of pine and rain. Beyond the doorway, the cobblestone path glimmers faintly beneath the lanterns, as though guiding you somewhere important. She gestures gently, inviting you to follow. "The tower waits," she says softly. You step outside, and the village feels different now. The cottages rest quietly, their windows glowing with warmth, while the stream hums its steady lullaby. The air is filled with silence, not empty silence, but a peaceful one, as if the whole village is holding its breath. Ahead, you can see the outline of the bell tower rising into the night sky, its stone walls touched by moonlight. It stands at the edge of the village, where the hills begin, tall and steady, as though it has been watching over this place for countless generations. As you walk along the path, you notice little details: carved symbols in the stones beneath your feet, lanterns that glow brighter as you approach, and trees that seem to lean gently toward the road, as if encouraging your steps. The journey feels sacred, like walking toward the heart of a memory that has been waiting just for you. The guardian of the tower candle bell sparkles. The path winds gently upward, leading you closer to the bell tower. Its silhouette grows taller with each step, the stone walls glowing silver beneath the moonlight. Finally, you arrive at its base, where an arched doorway stands open, lit by a single lantern swaying in the breeze. Inside, the air feels cooler, filled with the faint scent of stone and old wood. Spiral stairs curve upward, their steps worn smooth by countless feet over the years. But before you take a step, a figure appears in the doorway. It is an old man, tall and thin, his hair as white as snow, his cloak long and simple. His eyes are calm, deep, carrying the stillness of someone who has watched the world with patience. He holds a wooden staff in one hand, carved with delicate patterns of leaves and stars. "You have come to hear the bell," he says softly, his voice steady like the earth itself. "Few are chosen, but the village remembers those who are ready." He studies you for a long moment, then smiles gently, stepping aside to let you pass. "Go on," he says. "Climb, and let the tower tell you its story." The spiral stairs wait, curving upward into shadows, carrying with them the promise of something timeless. The spiral ascent cyclone sparkles. You place your foot on the first stone step, and immediately, the tower seems to exhale around you, cool air moving through its walls, as though the building itself is alive and aware of your presence. The spiral staircase winds upward, each step carrying you higher into the night. The walls are rough stone, yet here and there you notice carvings etched into them, small symbols of stars, rivers, and trees. They glow faintly in the lantern light, as if they are more than mere decorations. With every turn of the staircase, the glow grows stronger, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Your footsteps echo gently, blending with the low hum of the night wind slipping through narrow windows. The sound is not lonely, but comforting, like the tower itself is singing to guide you upward. As you climb, you begin to feel lighter, as though the weight of the world is slipping away step by step. Your breath slows, your body relaxes, and a deep calm settles over you. The spiral does not feel endless, it feels eternal, like a dream that wants to last forever. At last, you glimpse a faint silver light spilling from above. The top of the tower is near, waiting with its secret. The view from above Milky Way sparkles. At last, you reach the top of the staircase. A wooden door stands before you, weathered and strong, its surface etched with the same glowing symbols you saw along the walls. When you push it open, it creaks gently, and the cool night air rushes in like a soft embrace. You step out onto a wide stone platform, open to the sky. The world spreads before you in quiet wonder. Below, the village glimmers faintly, its lanterns glowing like fireflies resting among the cottages. The stream winds through the land like a silver ribbon, reflecting the moonlight as it flows toward the hills. Above, the sky is a sea of stars. They shine brighter here, untouched by smoke or city lights, each one sharp and clear, as if you could reach up and touch them. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens like a river of light, echoing the stream below. The bell hangs in the center of the platform, massive and still. Its surface is smooth, bronze turned dark with age, yet etched with markings that glow faintly in the starlight. It looks both ancient and eternal, as though it has been waiting for countless years. You stand quietly, breathing in the night. Everything feels vast, timeless, and impossibly calm. The village's secret is close now, you can feel it in the air, in the stars, and in the silence that waits for the bell's voice. The bell awakens, bell crescent moon sparkles. You approach the great bell, its presence towering and serene. The closer you stand, the more you feel its quiet power, a deep hum that isn't sound, but a vibration in the air, like the steady rhythm of a heartbeat. The bronze glimmers under the moonlight, its carvings glowing faintly as though they recognize your arrival. The old guardian appears beside you, silent at first. His staff taps gently against the stone floor, echoing like a soft drum. This bell, he says slowly, does not simply mark time. It calls to memory, to the things the world tries to forget. Each toll carries the voice of the past, the wisdom of the present, and the hope of what may yet come. He places a hand on the bell, and you notice his expression soften with reverence. Then he turns to you. "It will not ring for me tonight," he whispers. "It waits for you." He hands you a rope, worn smooth by centuries of use. For a moment, your hands tremble, but the bell seems to hum gently, as if to comfort you. When you pull, the sound that follows is unlike anything you have ever heard. Deep and resonant, it flows not only through the tower, but through the village, the hills, and the very air. It feels as though the stars themselves pause to listen. The bell is awake. And so is the magic. The whisper in the air, wind face sparkles crescent moon. As the bell's deep tone fades, the night grows impossibly still. Then, softly, almost too faint to notice, a whisper drifts through the air. It is not in any language you know, yet the meaning presses gently into your heart, like a dream you almost remember. The villagers look up, their eyes wide, sensing it too. Windows open, lanterns flicker, and children cling to their parents as they listen. The whisper flows like a breeze, circling the square, winding down every street, and brushing against every door. It is as though the village itself is speaking, remembering. The old guardian lifts his head, tears shining in his eyes. "The bell has awakened the memory," he murmurs. "The voice of what was lost, carried back to us." You close your eyes, letting the whispers settle inside you. They feel like fragments of stories, tales of kindness, of old songs sung beneath starlight, of hands planting seeds and laughter echoing through fields. It is not just magic you hear, but the heart of the people who once lived and dreamed here. And then, for the briefest moment, you hear your own name in the whisper. As if the voice of the village knows you, and has been waiting for you. The lantern pathway, red paper lantern, Milky Way sparkles. The whisper fades into the quiet of the night, leaving only the soft crackle of torches in the square. Just as the villagers begin to murmur among themselves, a light flickers to life at the far edge of the cobblestone road. It is a lantern, suspended in the air with no string, no hand to hold it. Then another appears, glowing softly in golden warmth. And another. One by one, lanterns bloom into existence, forming a pathway of light that winds gently through the village and out toward the forest. The villagers gasp in wonder, some stepping forward, their faces lit by the glow. The children whisper excitedly, tugging at their parents' sleeves. The elder guardian nods slowly, his voice hushed with awe. The magic remembers the way, he says. It is showing us the path. The lanterns hover just high enough to guide but not to blind, swaying as if moved by an invisible breeze. They lead toward the forest's dark edge, where shadows deepen like ink on parchment. Your heart quickens. The forest had always seemed mysterious, almost forbidding, but under the lantern glow it now feels welcoming, like an invitation. You realize this path isn't meant for just anyone, it was lit for you. Taking a deep breath, you step forward, the first to follow. The air cools, carrying with it the faint scent of pine and earth. Each lantern flickers as you pass, as though bowing in silent greeting. Behind you, the villagers watch with quiet hope, their faces a mixture of fear and trust. Ahead of you, the lantern path disappears into the forest, waiting to reveal its secret. The forest of whispering trees, evergreen tree, Milky Way, leaf fluttering in wind. The lanterns float ahead, guiding your every step. As you cross into the forest, the world shifts. The air feels cooler, carrying the scent of moss and rain-soaked bark. The silence is not empty, there is a hum beneath it, a low and gentle vibration, like the earth itself is breathing. The trees stand tall and ancient, their trunks thick and gnarled, their branches tangled like threads of an endless tapestry. Some lean together, forming natural arches as though bowing to welcome you. The lanterns slip under these arches, drifting gracefully, their glow spilling across roots and rocks. And then, you hear it. A faint murmur, like a conversation carried on the wind. At first, it seems like nothing more than leaves rustling, but soon, you recognize words. The trees are whispering. Their voices are deep, slow, and soothing, each syllable drawn out like a lullaby. Welcome, traveler, they sigh. Long we have waited, another adds. You pause, listening with awe as the forest itself speaks. The villagers had always whispered tales of a living wood, but hearing it with your own ears feels like stepping into a dream. The lanterns pause, hovering in midair, as though waiting for you to choose whether to go deeper. The path beyond glimmers faintly, dappled in golden light and shadow. Behind you, the village feels far away. Ahead, the forest beckons with mysteries only the brave will know. And somewhere, deep in its heart, you sense the magic the village had nearly forgotten, alive, waiting to be remembered. The hidden circle of stones, full moon, evergreen tree. You take a deep breath and step further into the forest, following the trail of lanterns as they weave gracefully between the towering trunks. Each step feels lighter, as though the earth itself is carrying you forward. The whispers of the trees grow softer now, as if they are watching, waiting, letting you move deeper into their secret heart. And then, the path opens into a clearing. In the center of this sacred space stands a circle of ancient stones, each one taller than a person, worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. Their surfaces shimmer faintly in the lantern light, etched with carvings so old that moss grows in the grooves. The air here feels different, thicker, charged with quiet power, like standing in the center of a dream you once had but forgot. The lanterns float above the stones, arranging themselves in a perfect ring. For a moment, you swear the stones hum, resonating with the same rhythm as the tree's whispers. It's a sound you feel more than hear, deep in your chest, like the heartbeat of the earth. You walk closer, reaching out your hand. The moment your fingers brush against the cool surface of one stone, a pulse of warmth spreads through you, as though the stone remembers you, or perhaps, you remember it. In that touch, an image flashes in your mind, the village long ago, alive with magic. Children running, lanterns dancing, the forest and the people in harmony. And then, like a sigh, the vision fades, leaving you with a question: was it the past you glimpsed, or a future waiting to be reborn? The stones seem to wait for your choice. Will you listen? Will you stay? The whispering stone sparkles crescent moon. The air inside the circle of stones is so still that even the breeze outside seems hesitant to enter. You step carefully across the grass, and as your foot touches the ground, a low hum ripples through the clearing. The stones are alive, breathing, remembering, waiting. You place your palm flat against one of the tallest stones. At first, it is only cool and silent beneath your hand. But then, a soft vibration begins, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. Slowly, words rise, not spoken aloud, but carried straight into your thoughts. We remember. The voice is ancient yet tender, like a lullaby sung by someone who has watched centuries unfold. The stones share their memories with you in fragments, each one shining like a spark in the dark, a time when villagers would gather here under starlit skies, lanterns glowing, songs weaving through the night, a bond between people and forest so strong that magic moved freely between them. But then came silence. The lanterns dimmed. The songs faded. The stones were left to dream alone. Yet, as they whisper, you feel their hope, the belief that the magic can return if the villagers choose to remember. The circle does not just hold memories, it holds an invitation. Your breath catches. For a moment, you feel both very small and deeply connected, as though the stones themselves are placing their trust in you. Above, the lanterns drift higher, glowing brighter, as though encouraging you to listen, to carry the memory forward. The hum grows softer, and the voice fades into silence, leaving you with a heart full of wonder. The stones have spoken, and they are waiting for your next step. The lantern-bearer's choice candle crescent moon sparkles. The whisper of the stones lingers in your chest like a secret song. You step back from the great circle, your fingers tingling, your heart beating softly in time with their ancient hum. The lanterns above sway as though urging you forward, and you realize the forest has given you a gift, knowledge of what once was. But knowledge alone is not enough. The stones have shown you hope, and now, it rests in your hands. As you walk back toward the village, the night feels alive. Every leaf seems to glow faintly, every raindrop hanging on a blade of grass reflects a shimmer of light. The forest isn't just watching, it's walking with you. When you return to the square, the villagers are waiting. Their faces glow in the lantern light, expectant and uncertain, as if they can sense that something has shifted. The elder steps forward, his cane trembling, his voice soft. "You carry the stones whisper, don't you?" he asks. "We saw it in the lanterns above, the way they followed you." The crowd hushes, leaning closer, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. You hold the lantern higher, its light falling gently over them, and the question settles in your heart. Do you keep the secret, protecting it like a fragile flame, or do you share it, trusting the village to remember together? The choice hovers before you like a path splitting in two, yet both lead deeper into the magic. The secret shared crescent moon sparkles candle. You lift the lantern higher, its warm glow painting a golden circle across the faces of the villagers. Their eyes are wide, filled with both fear and wonder, as if they already know the truth but need you to say it aloud. The stones remember, you begin, your voice steady though your heart trembles. They remember the time when this village lived with magic, when every song, every seed planted, every lantern lit was part of a bond between us and the forest. A hush falls so deep that even the night insects seem to stop their singing. The people lean closer. You can feel their longing, the deep yearning of generations who knew something was missing but never had the words for it. They whispered to me, you continue softly. And they want us to remember too. The magic isn't gone, it's waiting for us to choose it again. Gasps ripple through the crowd. A mother clutches her child tighter. The elder closes his eyes, tears glistening. Lanterns above shimmer and sway, as though nodding in agreement, their flames flickering with joy. For a long moment, silence reigns. Then, one by one, villagers step forward, each raising their lanterns high. Soon the square is aglow with a sea of light, brighter than the stars overhead. The old guardian's voice trembles with awe. If this is true, then perhaps tonight is the beginning, not the end. And as you stand among them, lantern in hand, you realize the choice you made has already begun to awaken something long asleep. The village is ready to remember. The first song returns musical notes, crescent moon sparkles. The square is bathed in lantern light, a golden glow that spills into every corner, every shadow. For a moment, no one moves, just silence, hearts beating in unison. Then, from the crowd, an old woman steps forward. Her hair is silver, her back slightly bent, but her voice is clear as the night sky. She begins to hum. The sound is soft, almost fragile at first, but it carries something ancient within it. The melody curls through the air like smoke rising from a fire. It is a song the villagers once knew, a lullaby their ancestors sang under the very stars now above them. Others join, hesitantly at first, then with growing strength. Fathers, mothers, children, all humming the forgotten tune. The sound builds, weaving through the lantern glow, wrapping around you like a blanket. The magic hums in response, echoing the music through the ground and into the stones beyond the village. The elder leans on his cane, tears streaming freely now. Yes, this was the song, he whispers. The song that kept the bond alive. And as the voices rise, the lanterns above the square begin to drift higher, glowing brighter, shimmering as if they too remember the melody. The night no longer feels like ordinary darkness, it feels alive, threaded with the pulse of magic returning. You close your eyes, letting the sound wash over you. It is more than music. It is memory, healing, and promise. For the first time in centuries, the village sings again. The forest answers evergreen tree musical notes Milky Way. The song rises, weaving through the air like threads of silver and gold. Each voice adds to the tapestry, soft, strong, trembling, or steady, until the melody is no longer just human. It feels as though the entire village is breathing as one. And then, something stirs. The trees at the edge of the square rustle though no wind moves. Their leaves shimmer, glowing faintly as if touched by starlight. The ground beneath your feet vibrates, a gentle hum joining the harmony of voices. It is the same hum you felt in the stones, now spreading outward, awakening the forest itself. Lanterns lift higher, drifting like fireflies into the treetops. Shadows twist into soft shapes that look almost like dancing figures, guardians of old, returning to witness the memory being born again. A breeze swirls through the square, carrying the villagers' song into the night sky. The stars above flicker brighter, as if leaning closer to listen. The whole world seems to lean in. The elder lifts his lantern toward the heavens. "Do you feel it?" he cries, his voice trembling with awe. The forest remembers us too. Children laugh, clutching each other's hands as petals drift from unseen blossoms, carried on the wind like blessings. The song is no longer just theirs, it has become a duet between village and forest, past and present, human and magic. And in that moment, you know, the bond has awakened. The first steps back to harmony have been taken. The glowing path sparkles evergreen tree candle. As the last notes of the song drift into silence, the night holds its breath. The villagers stand in wonder, their lanterns swaying gently in their hands. Then, at the edge of the square where the forest begins, a faint light stirs. It begins as a shimmer, no brighter than a candle's flame. Slowly, it spreads, threading itself along the ground, winding between roots and stones. A path begins to form, glowing softly with hues of silver and gold, as if starlight itself had spilled upon the earth. Children gasp, tugging at their parents' sleeves. The elder takes a trembling step forward, his lantern raised high, and the glow brightens in response, as though the path has been waiting for him. "The forest is calling us," he whispers. It remembers, and it invites us back. The villagers murmur nervously. To follow the path means leaving the safety of their homes, venturing into the deep woods where mystery sleeps. But the magic in the air is undeniable. The lanterns above sway toward the glowing trail, urging them onward. You feel a tug in your chest, gentle but insistent. The stones shared their memory, the song awakened the bond, and now, the path offers the next step. One by one, villagers lift their lanterns higher. Their faces are a mix of fear and awe, but hope shines brighter. The forest is no longer silent. It is speaking, and it is waiting. Into the forest evergreen tree sparkles candle. The villagers gather at the edge of the glowing path, their lanterns flickering like stars brought down to earth. No one speaks at first, only the soft crackle of the lamps and the distant whisper of the forest fills the night. Then the elder, leaning on his cane, nods. "We will go," he says, his voice trembling but resolute. One by one, they step forward. Mothers carry children, fathers clasp hands, friends walk side by side. You lead them, your lantern raised, the soft tug in your chest guiding each step. The glowing path brightens beneath your feet, as though it recognizes your courage. The forest accepts you gently. Trees part with a sigh of leaves, and the night air grows warmer, filled with the faint scent of pine and wildflowers. Above, the stars glitter between branches, their light dancing with the lantern glow. The deeper you walk, the stronger the hum becomes, a quiet vibration in the earth, like the heartbeat of something vast and ancient. Children giggle as fireflies rise to greet them, swirling around in playful spirals. Older villagers murmur in awe as they see carvings on tree trunks, faint but still visible, spirals, runes, and patterns from times long past. Symbols that speak of a bond between human and forest that was never truly broken, only forgotten. The path curves ahead, leading toward a brighter glow, something hidden deep within the woods, waiting for you all. And for the first time in generations, the village walks hand in hand with magic. The sacred clearing Milky Way herb droplet. The glowing path winds deeper into the heart of the forest, until the trees begin to thin. Their tall trunks arch gracefully, almost like guardians bowing as you pass. At last, the path spills into a vast clearing, bathed in an otherworldly light. The villagers gasp in unison. At the center of the clearing lies a pool, its waters glowing softly with shifting colors, silver, blue, and green, like liquid moonlight. Around its edges, great stones rise in a circle, carved with runes that shimmer faintly in response to the lanterns. The air here is thick with energy, humming gently in your bones, and yet it feels calm, safe, like stepping into a dream. Children rush forward, their laughter echoing like bells, though they are hushed quickly by their parents. Even so, their delight does not disturb the space. It is as if the clearing welcomes every sound, weaving it into the quiet music of the forest. The elder lowers himself to sit upon one of the stones, his face bathed in the pool's glow. "This is it," he whispers. "The heart of the forest. I thought it was lost forever." The villagers kneel, bow their heads, or simply stare in silence. The lanterns above drift lower, their flames reflected in the glowing pool until it seems as though countless stars float upon its surface. You feel the same tug in your chest, stronger than ever, pulling you closer to the water's edge. The pool calls to you, not just to see, but to remember, and perhaps, to awaken. The pool of memories sparkles droplet crescent moon. You kneel at the edge of the glowing pool, the grass cool beneath your knees, the soft light shimmering across your face. The water ripples gently, though no wind stirs it, as if it has been waiting, holding its breath, for your touch. Carefully, you dip your fingers into the water. The surface glows brighter, and in an instant, warmth spreads through your hand, traveling up your arm and into your heart. The pool awakens. Visions rise from its depths, not in words but in living images that shimmer like dreams. Villagers long ago, gathered here beneath the same stars, their lanterns glowing as they sang together. The forest glowed in response, trees bending in rhythm, animals resting calmly by their side. Harmony. A time of forgetting, when fear dimmed their lights. Lanterns were left unlit, songs unsung, and the bond with the forest slowly faded into silence. The stones grew quiet. The pool waited. And now, tonight. Lanterns reborn, voices rising, footsteps upon the glowing path. The return of memory. The return of hope. The visions swirl, then settle, until the water shows your reflection, but not just yours. Behind you in the shimmering image stand the villagers, lanterns raised, eyes filled with trust. And deeper still, faint outlines glow, figures of light, guardians of the forest, watching with gentle smiles. A whisper rises from the pool, clear and soft as the night air, the bond is not lost. It is carried by those who remember. The glow around your hand fades, but the warmth in your heart remains. You draw back slowly, breath unsteady, as the villagers step closer, eager to know what you have seen. You realize the forest has shown you its truth. The magic can live again, but only if all choose to remember together. The story shared evergreen tree sparkles candle. The villagers crowd around you at the pool's edge, their lanterns casting rippling patterns of gold across the glowing water. Their faces are filled with expectation, eyes wide, hearts open. The elder leans forward on his cane, his voice trembling. "What did the pool show you?" he asks softly. You take a breath, the warmth of the vision still glowing in your chest. "It showed us," you say, your voice steady. "It showed who we were, when our songs and lanterns kept the bond alive. It showed the time when we forgot, when we let fear dim our lights. And it showed tonight, when we chose to remember again." Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Some gasp quietly, some bow their heads, and others clutch their lanterns tighter, as if to keep the light from ever fading again. The pool said the bond is not lost, you continue. It lives in those who remember. It can return, if we choose to carry it together. For a long moment, silence fills the clearing. Then a child steps forward, her small lantern held high. "I want to remember," she says, her voice pure and sure. Her words spark something. Another villager raises his lantern. Then another. Soon, dozens of lights sway in unison, until the whole clearing glows like a second sky of stars. The villagers look to you, not with fear now, but with determination. The elder's eyes glisten as he nods slowly. Then we begin again. We remember. Together. And as the words settle over the group, the forest hums in approval, the pool shimmering brighter, as though sealing a silent promise. The first night of renewal, Milky Way musical notes candle. The villagers gather close around the glowing pool, their lanterns swaying like stars come down to earth. The elder raises his cane, not to command, but to steady himself as he speaks. Tonight, we do not wait for the past to return. Tonight, we live it again. The words are simple, yet they settle deep in every heart. A woman begins to sing, the same melody that had risen in the square. Her voice trembles at first, but then steadies, rich and warm. Soon, others join, weaving harmony into the night. The sound carries into the forest, where branches sway as though dancing in time. Children run in circles with their lanterns, laughter ringing like silver bells. Their small feet patter against the earth, stirring up petals that glow faintly in the air. Young men and women join hands, dancing slowly in a ring, their steps matching the rhythm of the song. Elders hum with closed eyes, tears glistening on their cheeks. The pool shimmers brighter, reflecting not just lanterns but the faces of villagers long gone, as those spirits of ancestors have come to witness the rebirth. The stones hum softly, joining the melody, and the clearing itself feels alive. The forest does not remain a silent observer. Fireflies gather in clouds, swirling above the dancers. A gentle wind carries the voices higher, weaving them into the stars. Leaves rain softly from the branches, golden and silver, though no season calls them down. You stand among them, your lantern raised, your heart swelling with something greater than joy. It is belonging, healing, remembrance. For the first time in centuries, the bond is alive again. And the night, once just darkness, now glows with a light that cannot be extinguished. The gift of the forest evergreen tree glowing star sparkles. As the last notes of the song drift into silence, a hush falls over the clearing. For a moment, only the soft crackle of lantern flames and the steady hum of the pool can be heard. Then, something shifts. The ground beneath the villagers' feet vibrates gently, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. All eyes turn to the edge of the clearing, where a tall, ancient tree begins to shimmer with a faint golden light. Its bark glows softly, its leaves turning silver in the moonlight, as though they've been dipped in starlight. The elder gasps. The forest tree. No one had spoken of it in generations. Legends claim that once, long ago, the forest had chosen a single tree as its voice, a guardian that connected human hearts to the spirit of nature itself. Over time, people forgot. But now, the forest remembered. The tree's branches bend gracefully, not from the wind, but in greeting. Its leaves whisper in a language beyond words, a melody that everyone feels in their chest. Slowly, glowing blossoms appear along its branches, opening one by one. Each flower releases a faint trail of golden dust, drifting toward the villagers like a blessing. Children reach out their hands, and the dust settles on their palms, leaving behind tiny sparks of light that sink into their skin. Adults feel warmth in their chests, as though an invisible thread ties them back to something they'd been missing their whole lives. The elder lowers his head, tears shining. The forest has given us its trust again. We are no longer forgotten. The villagers bow their heads in reverence, lanterns raised high. Above, the stars gleam brighter, as if the sky itself is bearing witness to this. Renewal. The tree hums gently, its glow steady and calm, promising protection as long as the bond is honored. Tonight, the forest has spoken. Tonight, the village is whole again. Dawn of renewal, sunrise, leaf fluttering in wind sparkles. The first rays of morning light stretch across the horizon, brushing the rooftops of the village with a golden glow. For the first time in many years, the dawn feels different, alive, warm, and brimming with quiet magic. Birdsong fills the air, but it is sweeter than usual, as if the birds themselves have been touched by the night's blessing. Dew sparkles like diamonds on every blade of grass, and the soft mist rising from the forest seems to carry whispers of joy. The villagers emerge from their homes one by one, carrying the lanterns they had lit the night before. Strangely, the flames still glow faintly, even after burning all night. Children laugh and chase each other with playful energy, pointing to the lanterns and shouting, "The light stayed with us." At the edge of the forest, the great tree still stands shimmering faintly, its blossoms glowing like pale embers in the soft sunlight. Some petals have drifted down overnight, scattering across the village square. Wherever they land, small flowers bloom instantly, on doorsteps, in cracks of stone, even in the hands of those who hold them. The elder steps forward and raises his staff. His voice trembles but carries strength. This dawn marks the beginning of our new life. We are no longer a village that remembers magic, we are a village that lives with it again. The villagers cheer softly, but not with noise that disturbs the morning, rather with smiles, embraces, and a deep peace in their hearts. They know the world has shifted. They are not alone. The forest walks with them once more. And so, breakfast that morning is not just food, it is a celebration. Families gather together, sharing bread, fruit, and laughter, the taste brighter than ever before. Even the air feels lighter, as though the very sky has joined in their joy. It is the dawn of renewal. And with it comes a promise: magic will never be forgotten here again. The forest's first test evergreen tree dove sparkles. The joy of renewal still lingers in the village when the forest, quiet yet watchful, begins to stir with a different kind of energy. The villagers sense it, not with fear, but with an awareness that something is about to happen. Magic, they remember, is not only gift, it is also responsibility. That afternoon, the wind shifts. It carries with it a fragrance of pine and damp earth, but also a low hum, like 1,000 bees vibrating through the air. The children stop playing, their laughter fading into silence, and even the animals grow still. From the forest's edge, a shimmering mist rolls forward, curling around the village square. Within the mist, a shape takes form, a deer, but unlike any they have ever seen. Its antlers glow as though woven from moonlight, and its eyes reflect the entire sky. The elder bows his head instantly. "The forest has sent us a messenger," he whispers. The deer lowers its head, and with one gentle step, the cobblestones beneath its hooves turn to soft moss. A hush falls. The villagers understand, this is not a threat, but a question. Will they care for this gift of magic, or will they let it fade again? The deer moves toward the well in the center of the village. Its light spills over the stones, and water rises to the brim, sparkling as if infused with starlight. But then the light flickers. The deer looks directly at the people, waiting. The villagers know what must be done. They must share the water equally, not hoard it, not waste it. The first test is not about power, it is about kindness, balance, and unity. And so, with gentle hands and humble hearts, they gather cups and bowls. No one takes more than they need. Children help the elders drink first, and every family shares with their neighbor. Slowly, the deer's light grows steadier, brighter, until it fills the entire square with a soft glow of approval. The test has been passed. And before their eyes, the deer dissolves into 1,000 glowing leaves, which scatter on the wind, carrying the forest's blessing back into every home. The whispering rain cloud with rain leaf fluttering in wind sparkles. That night, after the glowing deer dissolves into shimmering leaves, the village sleeps with a new sense of peace. Yet, as dawn breaks, the sky wears a heavy gray cloak. Clouds roll in from the mountains, soft and full, carrying with them the promise of rain. The villagers awaken to the first drops falling on their rooftops. At first, it feels ordinary, just a gentle morning shower. But soon, they realize this rain is different. Each droplet glimmers faintly, as though kissed by silver. When it touches the earth, the soil breathes deeper, releasing the scent of life itself. Children rush outside, holding their palms to the sky, and giggle as the rain sparkles on their skin. But the elder stands quietly in the square, eyes closed, listening. For beneath the sound of falling rain is something else, a voice. Not one voice, but many, layered like a chorus. The rain is whispering. It speaks not in words, but in impressions, feelings, and images. The villagers sense messages, of balance, of patience, of tending to the land as carefully as they tend to one another. The rain urges them to remember that magic is not just in moments of wonder, it is in daily care, in the quiet choices that shape the future. A farmer feels the pull to plant more trees. A healer senses herbs that will soon grow wild in hidden corners. A child understands that every creature, from beetle to bird, is part of the same song. The whispers are soft, almost like dreams, yet each villager receives exactly the guidance they need. When the rain finally lessens, the village feels washed not only in water, but in wisdom. And as the last droplets fall, they notice something extraordinary. Tiny flowers, pale blue and glowing, bloom instantly where the rain has kissed the ground. These blossoms are delicate but resilient, and the elder declares, "The forest has spoken." These are gifts of memory, to remind us always of the whispers carried by rain. The villagers gather the blossoms carefully, not to keep, but to plant near the well, so that their fragrance and glow will guide future generations. The second blessing has arrived, not in the shape of a deer, but in the tender murmur of rain. The final gift of the village sparkles crescent moon herb. As the blossoms settled by the well, glowing softly in the morning mist, the villagers believed the blessings might now be complete. The glowing deer had taught them hope, the whispering rain had offered wisdom. What more could there be? That evening, as twilight descended, the air grew very still. The villagers gathered once more in the square, almost instinctively, as though drawn by something unseen. The elder raised a lantern, its flame flickering golden, and for a moment the entire village seemed to hold its breath. Then, from the heart of the forest, a wind stirred. It wasn't harsh or cold, it was warm and fragrant, carrying with it the scents of pine, honey, and wild herbs. It swirled gently through the village, brushing against faces, rustling hair, tugging softly at clothes like a familiar embrace. The villagers gasped as they realized, this wind carried voices too. But these were not the whispers of rain. These were clearer, stronger. The voices were those of ancestors, of generations long gone. They spoke of love, of courage, of mistakes and forgiveness. They reminded the people that the magic of the village was not just in the forest or the sky, it was in their own hearts, passed from one generation to the next. Each villager felt a different message. A young girl heard her grandmother's laughter, reminding her that joy is also sacred. Crescent Moon, a farmer, felt his father's hand upon his shoulder, steadying him with strength. Fire, a mother, heard the lullaby of her ancestors, carrying comfort through the ages. And together, the villagers understood, the final blessing was memory itself, the power to remember love, lessons, and stories, even across centuries. The elder smiled through tears. The forest has given us its last gift. Not deer, nor rain, but remembrance. So long as we tell our stories, we will never lose the magic. The villagers lit lanterns that night, placing them along the well, the fields, and the forest edge. Their glow shimmered against the blossoms, the raindrops still clinging to leaves, and the gentle wind carrying voices. The village that remembered magic was no longer just a place. It was a living story, flowing like water, glowing like fireflies, whispering like the rain. A story that would lull every future child into dreams. And as night deepened, the stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if the sky itself bowed in gratitude, cradling the village in eternal peace. Sparkles Crescent Moon, the village slept, and the world was quiet. Magic, once remembered, would never be lost again. Herb.